Hello folks, this is Sully here. This is a preview video for Game 4 of Civ4 AI Survivor Season number 8. Let's go ahead, load up the map, and take a look at what we've got for this one. Now, as it turns out, I think that we're going to have a pretty big favorite in this map. I suspect a lot of people are going to like Mansa Musa, but before we get to that, first, here is the overview of the map that we have. Turn on the cultural borders. Because this is Game 4, it is a 7 AI game. So instead of 6, we have 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 up here. And if you're curious about the resources, here's the quick tab of what they look like for the curious. Now let's go ahead and zoom in and take a look at the leaders that we have in this game. All right, our Pool 1 leader, and the leader who I suspect is going to be the favorite, although I guess we'll find out, that is Mansa Musa, a former champion, Season 6 champion, if I remember correctly. Mansa is one of our most popular leaders in AI Survivor terms. He stands out for being probably the single best economic leader in the game. Spiritual and financial traits are absurdly good for this sort of thing. Spiritual because that means the AI doesn't waste turns in anarchy. Financial just being the overall best economic trait in Civ4. Also is a really good unique unit in the skirmisher. Very helpful for the early game. I also realized that Mansa has archers, so I will have to change these to skirmishers. I'll see if I can do that after this video gets posted. I'll go ahead and fix that in the starting game save file. Noteworthy things about Mansa Musa: he has a very high peace weight. That means that this is his biggest weakness. Many of the leaders in the game have low peace weights, which means they're inclined to dislike Mansa. But if he doesn't get attacked, he usually runs away with the game economically, and he does seem to have drawn a good position here in the northeast corner of this continent. All right, other leaders who are in this game. Our Pool 2 leader is Alexander of Greece. Yes, somewhat surprising Pool 2 leader, just barely kind of snuck in at the bottom of the list, but he is a seeded leader in this particular season, at least after some good results in recent seasons. Alex is one of the 2 Greek leaders. We actually have both Greek leaders in this game, interestingly enough. He is the more militaristic of the 2, philosophical, aggressive traits. I wouldn't say that there's a lot of synergy between these 2 traits. Alex is one of the game's most aggressive warmongers. He's kind of up there in the Shaka, Montezuma, Genghis Khan tier. Maybe not quite as much because he does get at least a little economic benefit from that philosophical trait, but still, he's going to build a lot of units and he's going to go attack people, including quite possibly other Greece, which is Pericles, and who is just up to the north on this exact same river. It's kind of bizarre that the 2 Greeks ended up getting drawn into this game. That's why Alex has the red borders, because we needed to change the color of one of them. In any case, Pericles, a very different leader, despite sharing the Greek Civ. Pericles much more peaceful, whereas Alex is a low peace weight. Pericles is relatively high peace weight. I believe he's 6. I think Alex is 1 or 2, if I remember correctly. Definitely economic traits here, philosophical, creative. Pericles likes to chase after cultural victories. If he gets left alone, he can do that reasonably well. Maybe not as well as someone like Gandhi, but still pretty well. Biggest problem for him is probably going to be that he borders Alex in this game, and the fact that they are both Greek leaders does not mean that they will be inclined to like one another. So there's a good chance we'll see some conflict between the 2 of them. All right, heading east on the Pangaea continent. Next, we have Qin Shi Huang of China. Industrious protective traits. He is basically another leader that wants to play relatively peacefully. He has a pretty high emphasis on building wonders. The biggest problem for him is his traits just are not particularly good. Industrious is not an especially good trait for AI Survivor purposes, and protective is okay, but is generally considered to be the weakest trait in Civ4. Now that's paired with a good Civ in the form of China, but unfortunately Qin Shi Huang generally tries to play the econ game, but he just doesn't do it as well as some of the other leaders. He can't really compete with like the Mansa Musas or the Dariuses or the Wynakopeks of the world, so he usually will try to play peacefully and has had some success in the past, but he just doesn't really have the setup to do as well as some of the other really strong economic leaders. He does have a lower peace weight, though, and that may be helpful on this map, so we'll have to see. All right, continuing upwards to the north, up here we have Saladin, the only Arabian leader in Civ4. Spiritual protective traits. He is a relatively straightforward leader. He likes to found a religion. He starts with mysticism tech. Is he the only one in this game I believe he's the only one in this game who starts with mysticism. Yeah, none of the other leaders have it. So he will definitely found a religion, and he's going to like whoever has his religion. He's going to dislike whoever doesn't have his religion, and we'll see how well he's able to spread that. He does seem to have a relatively decent position for spreading his religion. He's kind of in the center of the map, although he's not on a river with any of the other AI leaders, which is a bit of a downer for religious spread, which tends to follow along rivers pretty well. Like I said, he's religion plus military, lower piece weight, but not bottom of the scale. A number of people think he's maybe a little bit underrated, and he does seem to have a pretty good starting position with these resources here. So we'll see what he's able to do in this particular game. All right, finishing up with our remaining leaders. Over here, we have Washington, one of the American leaders. He's probably the best of the American leaders, but that's not saying much because none of them are especially good in Civ 4. All the American unique stuff comes so late on the tech tree, it almost never comes into effect. Washington is the most militaristic of the American leaders. He has expansive charismatic traits, which are honestly not that bad for military stuff. Big problem for Washington is he has a somewhat higher trained unit emphasis, but he still is pretty peaceful. He doesn't really like to go to war. So he's another one of those leaders like Sitting Bull who will build units and get a lot of promotions on them, but then like not use them because he doesn't like to declare war. It's not the most effective combination. He's had a couple games in the past where he's done well, but generally only when he had a very favorable starting position. He's a high piece weight leader, so he'll probably be inclined to like Mansa Musa. And the biggest role he plays in this game is he might just be a meat shield for Mansa Musa to tech behind. I guess we'll find out. Then finally, last but not least, our last leader alphabetically in Civ 4, we have Zar Yakob, the only Ethiopian leader. Creative, organized traits. He's pretty good at expanding and grabbing land. Not the greatest in terms of building an economy behind that, though. He also does like to chase after a religion. There's actually a pretty high chance that he'll found one of the religions in this game, even though he doesn't start with mysticism tech, which could cause some tension with Mansa Musa if he does found that. Zar is probably most famous for two things. One of them is being the runner-up in Season 1, where he came very close to winning the championship in Season 1. After falling to the wildcard game and making this big run back from there. The other thing he's infamous for is dying to Alex. He's died to Alex, I think, in 3 different seasons, and we're only in Season 8, so that's kind of wild. Amazingly, he's been drawn into a game with Alex again, but their starting position is not very close to one another, so we probably will not see an early Alex kill on Zar Yakob this season. But, you know, stranger things have happened, even though they are on opposite sides of the map. All right, so zooming back out again, just as a quick reminder, if you're watching this, you probably know this already, but we do run a picking contest for these games. We try to guess who is going to be the winner, who is going to be the runner-up, who's going to be the first leader to die, victory type, victory date, and all that jazz. So you will find a link to the picking contest underneath this video. This video will also be on live stream. It'll be up a week from today. The game will be on Friday, June the 28th. Friday, June 28th. That's 2024 if you're watching this like 5 years down the road. And it will be on my live stream at the normal noon Eastern time. So I hope that we will see a bunch of you there, and I'm sure a number of people will be here for game number 4 of Civ 4 AI Survivor season number 8. Until then, good luck with your picks. Have a great week, everybody, and I'll see you there. Take care, folks.